Bill Maher is a comedian and talk show host, known for his sharp wit and fearless approach to conversation. He's built a career on challenging the status quo, never hesitating to tackle the topics that make others uncomfortable. Maher thrives on asking the questions others avoid, pushing boundaries and encouraging his guests and his audience to think more deeply. On his show, Real Time, he dives into politics, news, and especially religion, never shying away from controversy. Each episode is a lively mix of debate, humor, and sometimes uncomfortable truths. Mormonism, or the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, is one of his favorite subjects. He's fascinated by its unique history and the way it has shaped American culture. Maher treats Mormonism like a new movie, fascinated by its recent origins and how its story unfolded in modern times. He's intrigued by how quickly it grew and the beliefs that set it apart from older faiths. He believes that no belief should be off-limits, especially when it influences laws and politics. For Maher, questioning faith isn't just about religion, it's about how those beliefs shape society and government. For Maher, poking fun isn't about being mean, it's about curiosity and challenging the status quo. His humor is a tool to break down barriers and get people to open up. He dissects faith like a puzzle, examining its history, beliefs, and rules, and isn't afraid to point out what seems odd. By breaking things down, he invites others to see familiar ideas in a new light. His goal? To get people talking, questioning, and laughing, even about the most serious topics. Maher believes that humor and open dialogue are the best ways to challenge assumptions. Maher's approach is to say what others are thinking but won't say out loud. He gives a voice to the questions many are too afraid to ask. He wants to spark curiosity in his audience, encouraging them to look at faith with fresh eyes. By challenging dogma, he hopes to inspire critical thinking and honest conversation. For him, open discussion is how we learn and grow. Maher's mission is to keep the conversation going no matter how tough the questions may be. Every religion has an origin story, a set of beliefs and tales that explain how it all began and why followers should believe. These stories often become the foundation for entire cultures, shaping the way people see the world and their place in it. But Maher finds Mormonism's especially wild, even compared to the already fantastical tales found in other faiths. He's fascinated by just how recent and detailed its beginnings are. Joseph Smith claimed an angel showed him golden plates, which he translated into the Book of Mormon. Then the plates vanished. The story is filled with visions, secret languages, and miraculous events, all witnessed by a handful of people. Maher jokes it's like saying you have a dragon in your garage, but it's invisible. No proof, just belief. The evidence is always just out of reach, and you have to take it on faith. He highlights how, unlike ancient religions with artifacts, Mormonism's evidence is missing, making it ripe for satire. There are no ancient relics, no ruins, just stories and testimonies. Then there's Kolob, a planet or star near God's throne, according to Mormon scripture. This cosmic detail adds a whole new layer of intrigue and, for some, confusion. Maher can't resist comparing this to science fiction, poking fun at the idea of God having a home planet. It's as if the faith took a leap from ancient myth straight into the realm of space operas. He riffs on the belief that devout Mormon men can become gods of their own worlds, likening it to leveling up in a video game. The more faithful you are, the higher you ascend, until you're running your own universe. For Maher, these unique details set Mormonism apart and make it a perfect target for comedy and skepticism. The blend of the miraculous and the modern is just too tempting for a satirist to ignore. He argues that if someone invented these stories today, they'd be dismissed as fantasy or science fiction, not taken seriously as spiritual truth. But because it's a religion, it gets respect he wants to challenge. Maher's point is that belief alone shouldn't shield ideas from scrutiny. Maher isn't attacking believers, he's questioning the story itself. He wants people to separate faith from fact, and to think critically about what they're told. He reviews it like a blockbuster movie, asking, "Does this plot make sense? Would you buy a ticket to this story if it weren't labeled as sacred?" For him, the answer is no, and he wants his audience to see why. He's inviting everyone to look at these tales with fresh eyes, and maybe laugh a little along the way. It's all about making people think twice about what they accept as truth, and encouraging a healthy dose of skepticism, no matter how sacred the story may seem. Maher loves to dig up the uncomfortable parts of Mormon history, like polygamy. He points out that Joseph Smith and early leaders had multiple wives, and while the mainstream church ended the practice in 1890, its legacy lingers. Maher uses this to question the church's moral foundations and how it treated women. He also highlights the church's former ban on black men holding the priesthood, which lasted until 1978. For Maher, these policies show how the church's revelations often mirrored the prejudices of their time. He argues that a truly divine institution shouldn't need to catch up with society on basic human rights. Maher is outspoken about religion's role in politics, especially when the LDS Church gets involved. He spotlighted the Church's major push for California's Proposition 8, which aimed to ban same-sex marriage. Maher saw this as a wealthy religious group imposing its beliefs on everyone else. He argues that faith should be private until it tries to shape public law. When Mitt Romney, a Mormon, ran for president, Maher insisted voters deserve to know how his beliefs might influence policy. He criticized the media for avoiding tough questions about Romney's faith. For Maher, no religion should be exempt from scrutiny, especially when it seeks political power. He believes a leader's beliefs matter because they shape real-world decisions. Maher finds humor in the details, like Mormon temple garments, which he calls magic underwear. He jokes about them to highlight how religious practices can seem odd to outsiders. Maher often compares Mormonism to Scientology, noting both were founded in modern times by charismatic leaders with sci-fi-sounding stories. He argues the only real difference between new religions and old ones is time. Given 1,000 years, today's cults become tomorrow's mainstream faiths. By putting Mormonism and Scientology side by side, Maher challenges viewers to question what makes a religion real. He wants to break the taboo against questioning faith, arguing that all beliefs deserve scrutiny. For Maher, it's not just about laughs, it's about encouraging critical thinking. He sees all religions as human inventions, shaped by their era. His comedy is a tool to strip away mystique and spark honest conversation. Maher famously says, "Follow the money." And he doesn't just mean in politics or business. He applies this principle to religion too, challenging viewers to look beyond faith and examine the financial realities behind spiritual institutions. He's especially fascinated by the LDS Church's immense and ever-growing wealth, which is built from the steady stream of tithes and donations from millions of devoted members around the world. When a whistleblower revealed the Church's secret $100 billion investment fund, Maher immediately pounced on the story, seeing it as a perfect example of what happens when faith and finance mix behind closed doors. He openly questioned why a religious organization would need such vast sums of money, and why it would go to such lengths to keep its finances hidden from both its followers and the public. The SEC eventually fined the Church for concealing its assets, confirming many of Maher's suspicions, and raising even more questions about transparency and ethics in religious finances. For Maher, this controversy isn't just about faith or belief, it's about unchecked power, influence, and the need for accountability in organizations that shape millions of lives. He argues that when a church operates like a global corporation, amassing wealth, investing, and influencing policy, it should be treated like one, including being subject to the same tax laws and regulations. By focusing on the financial side, Maher shifts the conversation from abstract beliefs to the real-world impact these institutions have on society, the economy, and even government policy. He wants viewers to recognize religious institutions as powerful players on the world stage, not just as spiritual communities, but as organizations with significant influence and resources. Ultimately, it's a call to hold them to the same standards as any other major organization, demanding transparency, responsibility, and fairness in how they operate and impact the world. After all the jokes, what's Maher's real point? He believes no idea is too sacred to question, especially religion, which shapes society in profound ways. His comedy is a way to get people thinking about serious issues, from civil rights to political power. Maher wants to break down the wall of reverence around faith and encourage honest dialogue. He challenges his audience to apply skepticism to all claims, whether from prophets or politicians. For Maher, laughter is a doorway to deeper understanding. His critique of Mormonism is just one example of his broader worldview: challenge authority, demand evidence, and never stop asking questions. He knows his approach can sting, but he believes it's necessary for a rational society. In the end, Maher's goal is to provoke thought, not just laughter. And that's a punchline worth considering.